In the northern part of the Gaza Strip, Israeli aviation has resumed massive bombardment of residential development of local settlements. In recent days, several dozen people have been killed in Gaza City, and many homes have been destroyed. Palestinian forces responded by firing some 50 rockets at Israeli Netivot and nearby settlements. Most of the munitions were intercepted by air defenses, but several fell within the city borders. In the area of the isthmus between the northern and southern parts of the enclave, the Israelis continue their assault on Bureij. At the same time, IDF units began encircling Maghazi, where fighting gradually shifted to the southwestern outskirts. In Khan Yunis, Israeli forces are still fighting in the neighborhoods of Jurat al-Lat and Batn al-Samin. The IDF's main objective in this area is to break through to Nasser Hospital, where one of the Hamas bunkers may be located. Meanwhile, in the center of Israel, there was a terrorist attack in the town of Ra'anana. One person was killed and 17 others were injured. Hamas militants claimed responsibility for the incident, calling it a guerrilla operation. In the West Bank, Israeli security forces conducted one of the largest raids in recent memory. In Nablus, students at An-Najah National University were detained, and around 100 people were arrested throughout the region. On Israel's northern border, Hezbollah militants continue to shell IDF strongholds and military bases. The Israelis respond with massive artillery and airstrikes throughout southern Lebanon. Meanwhile, the Israeli command reported a ground operation at Aita al-Shab. In turn, Hezbollah said that the Israelis failed to cross the border and retreated to their original positions. Tensions continue in the Red Sea region, where the Houthis again attacked U.S. ships. However, all attempts failed. One munition was intercepted, and others failed to hit the target. The situation in the entire Middle East also escalated significantly. IRGC forces hit several targets in Iraq's Erbil, and in Syria, the Iranians launched massive strikes against the facilities of pro-Turkish terrorist groups. Pro-Iranian proxies are also staying active, occasionally attacking U.S. positions. One of the strikes hit a U.S. military base near the Conoco gas plant in Syria.
You gotta keep them separated. separated.
Hey! Man, you're talking back to me. Take him out.
You gotta keep them separated.
Hey! Pay no mind. You're under 18. You won't be doing any time. Hey! Come out and play. It goes out the same as 1,000 before. No one's yet as far as no one's learning to score. You're never in this free of death and violence and hate. It's gonna tie your own rope, tie your own rope, tie your own. Hey! Man, you're talking back to me. Take him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey! Man, you're disrespecting me. Take him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey! Pay no mind. If you're under 18, you won't be doing any time. Hey! Come on and play.
The AFU have attempted to attack civilian targets in Russia's rear regions several times in recent days. Over Voronezh and Belgorod, air defense intercepted more than a dozen UAVs. At the same time, the Russian armed forces hit AFU storage facilities in Kropivnitsky and military facilities in Dnipro. In Kharkiv and Odessa, missile strikes and Garan kamikaze drones hit enemy concentration sites. In the Lyman sector, Russian troops are breaking through the enemy's defenses towards Terny. There are only a few kilometers left to reach the settlement and neighboring Yampolivka. Artillery is active on both sides, and the enemy is using FPV drones. In the Siversk direction, heavy fighting continues near Spirna, with Russian artillery firing at the ruins of the settlement. To the south, Russian troops are trying to occupy the outskirts of Vesely and are fighting in the vicinity of Bilohorivka. West of Bakhmut, the Russian armed forces are trying to take control of the road to Chasiv Yar, actively hitting enemy fortifications with artillery and aviation. In addition, Russian forces are conducting assault operations in Bodanivka and on the southern flank northwest of Klishchivka. Positional fighting continues on the outskirts of the Avdiivka fortified area, with Russian forces attempting to advance locally. To the southeast of the pumping station, Russian forces were able to advance from the direction of Kamyanka, occupying the fortified area. The AFU is still able to shell western districts of Donetsk and frontline settlements. Civilians, private and urban infrastructure are affected, although the intensity of shelling has recently decreased. The Russian armed forces continued to storm the AFU positions in the eastern part of Heorhivka and nearby forest belts northwest of Marinka. At the same time, a local offensive is underway towards the village of Pobjeda. The Russian armed forces are also fighting in the Novomikhailivka area, where earlier they managed to get a grip on the outskirts of the village and an industrial zone. But the advancement is complicated due to supply problems caused by enemy artillery and UAVs. Heavy fighting continues in the Krinky area. Supplies to the AFU grouping in the village are significantly disrupted by weather conditions, but have not been suspended. Reports that the Russian armed forces allegedly managed to partially establish control over Krinky have not yet been confirmed. Sporadic clashes between IDF patrols and dispersed groups of Palestinians continue in the northern Gaza Strip. The re-establishment of control of Hamas detachments is hampered by Israeli airstrikes against any suspicious targets. In the central area south of the Wadi Gaza Valley, clashes are taking place on the outskirts of the Al-Maghazi and Al-Baraj refugee camps. The IDF has launched multiple air and artillery strikes on the rear of populated areas. Unlike the northern part of the enclave, fierce fighting continues in the vicinity of Khan Yunis. Clashes have also broken out in neighboring Abasan. In almost all major cities and refugee camps, the IDF has conducted police operations to detain suspected Hamas members. Local cells of Palestinian groups try to counter by shooting and planting IEDs in the path of the Israelis. In Israel's northern district, air defense warning systems are occasionally triggered and Hezbollah strikes border infrastructure. Lebanese localities along the entire border have been hit by retaliatory strikes. From time to time, Hezbollah allows other groups to participate in shelling of Israel. However, the arsenals of local Palestinian resistance factions lack diversity, and therefore semi-artisanal MLRSs are used. On the evening of January 17th, the Yemeni Houthis struck several bulk carriers southeast of the city of Aden in the Gulf of Aden. Only one ship was damaged, and the U.S. Air Force soon launched strikes on Yemeni territory. The U.S. Central Command claimed to have hit 14 missile positions while munitions were being prepared for launch. Whether or not this is true, time and satellite images will tell, but it is unlikely that the strike will have much effect on the capabilities of the Houthis. In Syria and Iraq, pro-Iranian groups were not particularly active. The only U.S. base attacked in the region was a facility near the village of Hemo.